guys, what's going on? It's MassiveJoes RAW review, and I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Awesome raw review for the viewers at home today on one of the newest non-stimulant pump formulas to hit the market in Australia. It is, of course, BPN Endo pump in the house. Let's get straight into it, show you guys exactly what's in it, tell you exactly what it's going to do. That itty bitty nutritional information panel ain't going to get it done. We about to go balls deep. In this here BPN Endo pump, luckily got ourselves a big ass nutritional information panel for the viewers at home. Dilip, go ahead and throw that panel up on the screen so the viewers can play along at home, starting from the top. Got yourself one scoop, and keeping in mind this is the pineapple mango flavor. One scoop, 8.05 grams. Got yourself about 30 of them. One scoop, 8.05 gram bitches in one of these BPN Endo pump bitches. In terms of what the one scoop 8.05 grams is made up of, BPN, as they do with all of their supplements, provide a full, open, transparent nutritional information panel, so we can do a quick addition, add up the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 active ingredients, and quickly discover there's 6.15 grams of active ingredients. So we're dealing with 76% actives, leaving 24% flavors, sweeteners, and colors. That is fantastic for a pump formula. In terms of what the 6.15 grams of actives is made up of, starting from the top, starting with vitamin C as a sorbic acid in a 150 milligram dose. Vitamin C, of course, an antioxidant, counteracts reactive oxygen species generated during exercise. It's going to help reduce post-workout soreness and reduce perceived exertion during exercise. Clinical dose is 400 milligrams right up to 3,000 milligrams in a single dose. We've only got 150 milligrams, so we would go so far as to say it's underdosed. Moving right along, we then get into citrulline malate in a 3-gram dose. This is, of course, L-citrulline bonded to malic acid in a 2-to-1 ratio. It's a precursor to arginine, and arginine is responsible for boosting nitric oxide levels. Boosting nitric oxide levels, of course, improves blood flow. Primary purpose is to increase nutrient delivery to working muscles. The more blood you get into working muscles, the more nutrients that go along with it. You're also going to get the side effects of increasing muscle pumps, and if you're lean enough to get vascular, it's going to improve vascularity as well. Clinical dose of citrulline malate is 6 grams. We only have 3 grams in each and every scoop, so it's about 50% underdosed in a single scoop serve. Moving right along, we then get into Hydromax glycerol as glycerol powder, yielding 65% glycerol in a 2-gram dose. So we're talking about 65% of 2 grams is 1.3 grams of actual glycerol. Glycerol prevents dehydration by increasing intracellular concentration of fluid, water in particular. It's going to help hyperhydrate your muscle, increase muscle volume, and help prevent dehydration. Clinical dose is 1 to 2 grams. We have 65% of 2 grams, so 1.3 grams, so it is pretty much perfectly dosed. Moving right along, we then get into a cocoa extract that's yielding 20% theobromine, and this is the cocoa seed extract to be exact. Theobromine is a bitter alkaloid of the cocoa or the cacao plant, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Dilates blood vessels, does a whole bunch of other shit. We actually don't generally see theobromine used in pump formulas because it does actually have a very mild, very slight stimulant effect. Theobromine is about 1/10 as strong as a CNS stimulant as caffeine. So you need like 10 times the amount of theobromine to mimic the CNS stimulant effects of caffeine. What we're dealing with here is a very small dose. So we've got a 500 milligram extract that yields 20% theobromine. So we've only got 100 milligrams of theobromine. I'm really not, to be honest with you guys, really not too sure what that dosage of theobromine is doing in a pump supplement at all, because even the effect of dilating blood vessels, which you could argue is part of the pump process or part of increasing nutrient delivery and is going to enhance the effects of things like citrulline, malate, and agmatine. We'll get to that in a second. But in that dose, it's such a small dose, it's kind of like, I don't really know what it's doing in there. Moving right along, we then get into, as mentioned, agmatine sulfate in a 500 milligram dose. Agmatine, a nitric oxide booster, works by inhibiting the enzyme that breaks down nitric oxide. So you can start to see some synergism in this product. Citrulline malate going to boost nitric oxide via arginine. Agmatine going to stop that excess nitric oxide from being broken down. It's therefore going to improve blood flow, similar to citrulline malate, increase nutrient delivery to working muscle, improve muscle pumps, and improve vascularity if you're lean enough to get vascular. Your clinical dose of agmatine sulfate, 750 to 1500 milligrams. Therefore, in a single scoop serve, it is also underdosed. You do have to, of course, consider the synergism with citrulline malate, but in its own right, a 500 milligram dose is quite significantly underdosed. Got yourself about 24% flavors, sweeteners, and colors. And that's what's in it. So on paper, you don't have to be a genius to figure out that this is really like a 2-scoop serve pump formula, because pretty much everything in it, right from the vitamin C to the citrulline malate to the agmatine sulfate, are all pretty much 50% dosed. Really, the only thing that in a single scoop serve is properly dosed is the Hydromax. And even if you go to 2 scoops, you're still not taking so much Hydromax that it becomes problematic. So it really is, and we'll talk a little bit more about this when we get to effects, but it really is on paper, it's quite easy to see that it is a 2-scoop pump formula, not a single scoop pump formula. If you break it down and you kind of have a look at the formula, considering a 2-scoop serve, and you look at, what's in it, what it's missing, etc., from the perspective of a stimulant-free pump formula, pump-inducing supplement, it is very complete. It's got something in there to boost nitric oxide. It's got something in there to boost muscle volume. It's got something in there to prevent the breakdown of excess nitric oxide. It kind of does tick all the boxes that you look for when you're considering a kind of standalone stimulant-free pump supplement. Of course, you can always add more things to it. You can add something else to boost nitric oxide, like a nitrosogene. You can add nitrate to boost NO through the nitrite nitric oxide pathway. So you could add betaine nitrate, you could add arginine nitrate, you could add creatine, any type of nitrate you could definitely add to this formula. And then finally, something, a newer type ingredient that we're seeing pump up, we're seeing pop up in a bunch of new pump formulas is Vaso 6, which is once again a nitric oxide boosting ingredient. But in its own right, on paper, if you look at a 2-scoop serve, it is quite a comprehensive pump formula. In terms of how it tastes, how it mixes, comes in two flavors. Comes in, as we have discussed, pineapple mango. Comes in fruit punch. I have tried both, but I do have 2 brand new tubs of this BPN Endo pump here. Which flavor should I bust open for the raw review without giving away which one's my favorite? I'm gonna go with that pineapple mango, man. Brand new tub of BPN Endo pump. I'm gonna rip the seal off this bitch. Bro punch this bitch in. That's a good bro punch right there. I'm just going to show you guys real quick. One of the coolest things with this Endo pump, in terms of the actual feel of the powder, for a pump formula that uses Hydromax glycerol, those of you who have had experience with Hydromax glycerol would know before that it tends to clump the whole formula up. You tend to get a really clumpy powder. BPN have done a great job because they've been able to completely avoid that. And you can see this brand new tub of Endo pump there. It's very like floury. There's really no clumping. There's no none of that general kind of moisture absorbing clumping effect that you get from pump formulas that use Hydromax glycerol. So that's good to see. Gonna take myself 1 scoop of this BPN Endo pump. Got our infamous MassiveJoes double wall glass here. Throw this bitch in this bitch. And let it rain, let it rain. A few flicks of the wrist. I'm gonna show you guys how this Endo pump mixes. I'm gonna refresh my memory on how this pineapple mango flavor tastes, man. All right, I think that's enough. So as you guys can see, pretty well mixed, although I think that I tend to, when I tend to have a pre-workout, I'm using a lot more than 8 ounces of water, which we've got here. I'm using like, man, 10 to 12, sometimes even 14, 16 ounces. And I think you can almost tell by like the thickness there that it does need a whole lot more water. And mixing it in a MassiveJoes Elite Shaker with a blender ball is definitely going to help. So I'm going to go so far as to say blender ball is required for this here BPN Endo pump. Let me refresh my memory on how this pineapple mango flavor tastes, man. Man, BPN have done such a good job with the flavor of this Endo pump. I probably gave it away by the flavor that I chose, but my personal favorite between the two is definitely the pineapple mango. The fruit punch is, it's not a full cherry American fruit punch, but there's definitely some kind of American fruit punch undertones going through it. The Australians watching will know exactly what I mean. So me personally, I prefer the pineapple mango flavor. That being said, both flavors are really good, very easy to drink. They've done a really good job with these two flavors. The one thing I will say with flavors is it's a little strange that they haven't done a neutral or an unflavored version, especially considering that this really, for a lot of people, this isn't going to be a standalone pre-workout. It's going to be stacked with usually a stimulant-based pre-workout. In BPN's case, it's going to be stacked with BPN Flight. And it's a little strange that they've done two quite potent, you know, unique, strong tasting flavors in fruit punch and pineapple mango. They haven't done, you know, an unflavored or some kind of safer flavors that are going to stack with other flavors a little bit better. If you stack this with anything, these flavors are really going to dominate because they are very strong and they're quite unique as well. So you're not going to mix pineapple mango with something and not taste the pineapple mango, and you're not going to mix the fruit punch with something and not taste the fruit punch. So they are very dominant flavors, and hopefully we get to see BPN have a crack at an unflavored version in the near future. In terms of the effects, because that's what you're taking this shit for, and I have already addressed that it really needs to be a 2 scoop. At the bare minimum, let's say at the bare minimum, a 1.5 scoop pump formula. So you need to be taking at least 1.5 scoops. My personal opinion, you know, I found the best results taking 2 scoops. Used by itself, very good muscle pumps, very good muscle volume. If you're lean enough to get vascular, very good vascularity. I'm just going to leave that there because I know most of you watching aren't going to be taking this as a standalone pre-workout. You're going to be stacking this shit. And for most of you, you're probably going to be stacking it with BPN's pre-workout, this BPN Flight. So when you are doing that, stacking Flight with Endo Pump and putting the BPN stack together, it is like, it's ridiculous. You can very quickly tell that BPN have designed Endo Pump to be stacked with Flight, because you look at all of the gaps in Flight and Endo Pump fills all those gaps. You've got your citrulline malate in there, whereas Flight doesn't have citrulline or citrulline malate. You've got your Hydromax glycerol in there. Flight doesn't have anything for muscle volume. You've got more agmatine. Flight is about half dosed in agmatine. You throw another 500 milligrams, you're at full, over and above full clinical dose of agmatine. Vitamin C, you get the vitamin C from both, you're at a full clinical dose of vitamin C. So you can really see that a lot of thought has been put from the formulation side of things by the team at BPN to make sure that these two products do stack together. And man, when you're stacking them together, I mean, the pumps are fucking ridiculous. The muscle volume is ridiculous. You got to remember in flight as well, you've got Norvaline in there also. It's just the culmination and the synergism of flight with Endo Pump is just next level. When you're stacking it, and I have used Endo Pump with other pre-workouts as well, it really is going to depend on the synergism of the ingredients. But once again, if you're stacking it with things that are kind of filling in the gaps in Endo Pump's formula, it really is going to provide a complete pre-workout stack. And because that's what most of you are going to be doing with most stimulant-free pump formulas, is stacking them with a stimulant pre-workout of some sort, you know, Endo Pump does really stack well with most stimulant-based pre-workouts. You don't have to worry about having too much agmatine. You don't have to worry about having too much citrulline malate. You know, there's nothing that you really need to be aware of consuming too much of. So it is, you know, very much so a very stackable and therefore very versatile pump formula. If you do want to stay away from stimulant pre-workouts and you just want to stack it with something else, it's going to stack well with any mental focus enhancer. There's no mental focus enhancing ingredients in there. It's going to stack well with other non-stimulant performance-based ingredients. So beta-alanine, betaine, creatine, anything else that's going to help boost performance, not from the perspective of boosting nitric oxide, but from other non-stimulant perspective pathways such as muscle power and so on and so forth in that regard. The final thing I will say is in terms of price and value for money. Now it is a 30 serve pump formula in a single scoop serve, but like I said to you guys, it really needs to be at least 1.5, so 1.5 scoops per serve. Ideally 2 scoops per serve. So in the Australian market, you're looking at $69.95 for your 30 serve tub. At a 1.5, let's give a benefit of doubt, let's say 1.5 scoops per serve. It breaks out at $3.50 per serve, so you're at $69.95 for really 20 proper serves. So $3.50 per serve, which does make it quite an expensive pump formula when you compare it to other pump formulas in the Australian market. That being said, it is quite a unique pump formula as well. So if you're in the market for something different, if you're in the market for something new, if you're in the market for a very versatile, great tasting stimulant-free pump formula, you got to go out and get yourself some of this BPN Endo Pump, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn your post notifications on, both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC, so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel. And guys, that is MassiveJoes RAW review on the all-new BPN Endo Pump in the house. And I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive. Thank you for tuning in to this video. We hope you enjoyed watching. Don't forget to check out our latest upload and our recommended video, and be sure to subscribe to the MassiveJoes YouTube channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads.